Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. New York Giants at the Chicago Bears. Bears favored by 4.5 here. They are coming off their big win against the Cincinnati Bengals, 5-3 against the 2-7 Giants.
Yeah, the Chicago Bears, who I don't think anyone really thinks are particularly good at the moment, but that 5-3 record is like these things start to stack up, and the same meme is being applied in multiple case studies throughout the NFL. There's this one, and the meme is Tiger Woods looking all jacked and buttoned up and professional,
Yes.
and John Daly there with his giant beard smoking a cigarette and huge gut hanging out, and the two of them are sitting there with the same record. The Lions and the Bears are effectively in the same spot with 5-3, and then the other one is Carolina and somebody else.
The Chiefs. Carolina and the Chiefs are both 5-4.
With 5-4. And that's where Chicago is right now. Like they haven't looked as impressive, and as much as they have the same record, like their overall point differential is like 70-something points worse than Detroit. So they aren't as good, but you are what your record says you are, according to Bill Parcells. So they're the same.
It's a big opportunity for the Bears going up against a 2-win Giants team. Then they're at Minnesota, and then so like the next 4 weeks, Bears should be able to win this game, move to 6-3, and then they get tested at Minnesota, against the Steelers, at Philadelphia, at Green Bay. So those are their next 4 games. I'm not saying either way what's going to happen. But by the way, they've Green Bay twice in 3 weeks, actually into December. But it's a much more difficult schedule for the Bears to make a run here. They got to take care of business in this game.
Sure. The big variable, like we're going to focus on Caleb Williams and the offense and all that. The big variable, though, has been this defense where, a few weeks ago against, admittedly, the Saints, they absolutely murdered them. Like the Saints had no shot. The defense, the pass rush was formidable. Like they just destroyed them. And then last week they looked like they couldn't stop anything. Like they gave up 1,000,000 yards and all those points to Joe Flacco and his busted shoulder. Like what is this defense? Because if the one that shows up that can't defend, well, then Jackson Dart has shown a lot. They might be able to run the ball as well. Like all good things could be in store for the Giants. If the defense shows up that actually has some teeth, well, then you would say this is a game they could and should win comfortably.
We talked last week about their pass rush just not getting home quickly. Dayo Odeyingbo is out for the season now. Achilles, so he's been placed on IR after his injury last week. They just traded for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka to try to at least add some depth on the edge. I'll tell you the guy that could maybe not solve it, but Austin Booker, second-year player, 4th rounder out of Kansas, looked awesome last week in his debut for this season. And he's shown tons of flashes in the last couple preseasons, various plays during the regular season last year. If they could get him going, he's long, explosive. I know he didn't test well at the combine, but just plays like he's explosive. Put Orlando Brown on his back on one rush last week. He could be the guy that really helps up front opposite Montez Sweat and Gervon Dexter up in the middle. But you're right, like the inconsistency of the Bears defense is, I'd say, it's difficult, right? I think they're depleted. They've been depleted in the secondary relative to who they would like to have out there.
Right.
That's been hit or miss. Pass rush has been inconsistent. And I would even say offensively, they have games where they're like, if you look at some of the blocks, Darnell Wright and Theo Benedet, and like they're playing bully ball in not every week, but they have elements of the Lions bully ball that Ben Johnson loves. Now they did it against the Bengals, or they did it 2 weeks ago against the Saints. Can they do it against the Giants' defensive front, which has been hit or miss relative to their expectations?
Yeah.
So I think that's a fun matchup in here. So the Bears have a lot of, I would say, flashes of what Ben Johnson wants, and then there's other elements of procedural stuff and inconsistencies that just they're not there yet, but I think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. Darnell Wright is such a fun offensive lineman to watch. Like he's that classic old school coaches would have loved that dude.
Oh yeah.
Like he's the classic highlight reel offensive lineman where his positive blocks, his the blocks where he absolutely crushes dudes. That's what offensive line coaches love to see. And, he loses a little bit more than some other offensive linemen, but I think there are coaches that absolutely want that trade-off. Like, we want the guy that crushes people and will take a couple more losses than the guy that, never loses but doesn't necessarily get a ton of movement either. I mean, that block he had on Shamar Stewart was absolutely crazy. I think it says as much about Shamar Stewart as it does about him, but still, amazing play to watch. And, yeah, those are making a huge difference for this run game.
33rd team research team stat to keep an eye on. If you're watching this game, we'll give you something to watch here. Jackson Dart, who's been outstanding, running the ball, scrambling, 7.7 yards per scramble. The Bears have been one of the worst against quarterback scrambles, 11.3 yards per scramble. That's 31st in the NFL. So Jackson Dart, is he going to be running a lot? So you've got this Bears pass rush that's not getting home quickly and not necessarily the best as far as, lane integrity and gap discipline goes, rushing the quarterback. Could be, eyes open for Jackson Dart, looking for some opportunities to run the ball.
And, he's just a threat to run the ball, like even independent of scrambles. Like, they're going to use him in the design run game as well. He's going to carry the ball.
Great. Oh, that's the train of thought. Great. I didn't start previewing a different game at least.
No, that's true.
You know me and my throwback brain. Part of me was like, man, what if this was 1985? What if this was Lawrence Taylor
just
going
sitting
up
here
against
daydreaming about 1985?
Yeah.
Randomly.
What if this was what if it wasn't a 2-7 Giants team and an up-and-coming Bears team, and it was like the two powerhouses in the NFC in the mid '80s? We'll go watch one of those games later today. Little Bears Giants game from the '80s. Where are you going with this one?
I am going to go
Bears by 4.5.
I'm going to go with the Bears to win and cover, confusing though their defense has been.
I think both sides confusing.
Well, the offense, I think, at least makes a bit more sense. Like, Caleb Williams is just an inherently volatile, inconsistent player right now, and that's kind of shaking out, I think, to like just an average player, but in a fairly predictable pattern. Whereas the defense just been chaos.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears to win and cover, as will 10-year-old Harry.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.